Welcome to For the Fans. We are finally back to talk about the challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. We've been deep undercover, actually. That's why you haven't seen us. And we got the drama for you tonight. If we can remember what's happened, it's been, I think, 1/3 of the season has passed.
No big deal.
Just had some teams and cells and stuff.
Yeah, I think the last one that we talked about was the very first time that they were getting into their cells, and we were like, "Oh, this is going to be so interesting. We can't wait to see what's going to happen. We'll be back next week to talk about it." And then it's been like 6 weeks, but here
Yeah,
we
it
are.
was like Priscilla drama was the last thing that was really popping in our
Yeah,
world.
no big deal, y'all. We're here now, and we can just catch up and just talk about our thoughts on the season. Not a recap per se, but just what's been happening, what we think about it, who we think's going to win, all that good stuff. So,
So I
what do you think
loved
about the what do you think about the idea of the cells?
I like the cells. I think my favorite part of it was that once someone was down, they got to call out whoever they wanted. You could disrupt the game a little bit. I liked it. I don't agree with like all the decisions that were made through that time period of the game. And then now we don't know what's happening, but I like the teams. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, I like the team aspect. I either want them to be completely individuals like free agents, or I want them to be in teams. That's kind of like a throwback era a little bit. And
Yeah.
I like seeing them competing in the groups. Like, I like seeing CT trying to get away from Kyle and Kyle like following him like a little puppy dog. Wherever CT goes, Kyle's trying to follow. And,
His great
like,
grandfather
yeah, like
told him.
Emmy's attachment to CT. I mean, the dynamics on the green emerald cell, because I mean, like, individually, all of these people suck, but as a group, somehow they're pretty good. And so, the terribleness of Ruby, it's been entertaining to watch.
Yeah, we had a ton of drama with Corey. Um, I'm liking the stage of the game that we're in now because, like, the first part of the game, it was like Uncle CT was taking his nap, he was resting. It's like a bear in hibernation, and now he's like this last episode when he was running across there with those capsules. That was like CT in a time machine. It looked like old school
Yeah, I
CT,
mean,
like
he just
balance,
completely
strength.
dominated that. It was ridiculous. And I mean, like, him using the wrecking balls to like swing himself to platform. He's throwing them back at the people trying to take them out. I think they probably were like, "Hey, you can't do that," because he really only tried it once. But just completely dominated. And I
Yeah.
mean, like, I feel like we were watching CT transform into his old self, like, before our eyes, physically and just completely dominating the game. And I don't understand why they don't try to challenge him. I mean, I know that he's a badass, but at some point, you're not going to beat him in a final. And, we don't know if they're going to run this final somewhat as teams, or how exactly it's going to be done. I feel like the last few challenges, they've been in partners and they've switched at each checkpoint, or what the, makeup of it's going to be. But if I'm a guy, I don't want to go against CT. And
No.
he's,
And
you know
if
what I
I'm a
mean? Like,
cell and it's a team ending like we've seen in way back in the day, like I don't not unless I'm on that team. Like I don't even care if you got 20 people on Emerald. I'm gonna
yeah,
take the 3-person team with CT being 1/3 of it.
right, exactly. Like, I mean, he's in great shape again. I would not want to just physically go up against him. Nobody can beat him in puzzles. He's super smart. He can, put down food. Every phase of the final, he's going to be able to kill. So I know that it's scary, but I'm sorry, you got to take your shot at him.
Yeah, I
You
don't
got
think
to
I
do
think
it.
he quit smoking. So
I don't
old
think so.
CT,
I'm pretty
he
certain in
still
this
smokes.
last episode, he's like hiding a cigarette while him and Devin, or, yeah, I think it's when him and Devin are outside talking. So I think he's still smoking, but that's okay. I saw like an article that said that he's got it under control. He only smokes like 5 or 6 a day, but not a carton.
Damn, yeah, a carton. That's rough. 5 or 6 a day. That's like barely controlling your habit. Your habit, I
I'm
think.
like, okay,
I don't even really think it is.
I haven't smoked 5 cigarettes in my life. So for me, I'm like 5 or 6 a day. Oh my God. Okay. Let's go through some of the people that are still left, some of the people that have recently been eliminated since, oh yeah, I can't exactly remember who went out the last time we talked. So we're just going to alphabetically go through some of these people. So what do you think about Amanda's game?
Lover confessionals. Um, I love that she was ready to be the wrecking ball that destroyed Emerald. I love that. She caused a lot of entertainment. Like
Yeah.
Tori and Josh, all that was because of her.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go back and watch each season Amanda's been on because every time she comes on, I like her a little bit more. And I am absolutely loving her this season. Like, she is not a great competitor, obviously. She doesn't even give a crap, I
Yeah.
don't think, half of the time. But she is amazing television. She's just absolutely kills it in her confessionals. Like, this last episode when she, when Tori gets knocked off the beam and she's like, yeah, take that, bitch, die. Okay, that's too far. I mean, I just feel
Yeah.
like the energy that she brings and, her mentality of like looking out for number one, where everybody else, and I feel like this is also what's wrong with Big Brother is they all get in the mentality of like, oh, what's best for the house? What's best for the group? Amanda's like the only one there that is looking out for number one. Amanda and
Yeah.
Kyle. And those are probably my two favorite people on this season. Um, just
Kyle, let's transition to Kyle off that.
Okay, we can talk about Kyle. But I'm loving Amanda. I want to see her come back just season after season. I hope it's something she's going to be able to do with her kid at home. But she's giving me
Yeah.
everything that I need from her.
I want her to I want her to go on to the All Stars here in a couple years. I think she's more suited for that. I think if you, the reason I don't think I liked her back in the day is because I feel like it was a more serious time. You had Evan in them, but outside of that, it was more like challenge focused. Now that you have people like Josh that are just like this emotional mess, it's fun to put those chaotic elements into the game to see how they mentally spiral out of control.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm liking Amanda. I'm going to be interested to see if she's able to survive this, small purge that we get next episode because I would like to see her run a final. She's probably going to die. That's okay. She's smart
Yeah.
and I'm loving the rivalry that she's making with Tori where she kind of had this thing with Kara where she's like, Kara thinks she's the shit. And at the time, I think that's probably why I didn't like Tori because that was like the pre-Polly days of Kara or right at the beginning of Polly. And I liked Kara then. And so I didn't really like Amanda. And now I'm like, I need to
Yeah.
go back and rewatch this because, it seems like Amanda was right on Camilla. Amanda was right on Tori. Amanda was right on Kara. So I'm like, these
Maybe I need to
girls,
go back.
yeah, like I feel like I need to go back and give some credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a whole rewatch just dedicated for Amanda episodes.
Yes. Okay. So next up alphabetically is Ashley. So what do we think about Ashley being removed from the show?
Before she was removed, I think she did really well at like kind of a redemption season, maybe
Mhm.
a foundation season for being able to work with people again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was playing well, performing well. It's interesting because obviously, there's so much speculation about what she did, what she said, what she did. Um, they deemed it enough to remove her from the show, and she's, kind of one of the faces of the challenge. But even in the episode where she's leaving, she gets plenty of confessionals, way more than Nani's getting, way more than Casey has gotten pretty much all season. She still is like the narrator in the episode that she's getting removed from the show. So it's really interesting to me because typically, like a few seasons back, we have this, the off screen comments from
They did a good
from
job.
D, and they completely edited her out of the show, and they take a different route with Ashley. So it's a little curious.
Every time I try to remember Dee's name, I forget it. That's how good they
Literally
canceled her.
went blank right there.
Yeah.
Like they've erased her from our memories.
Yeah.
So do you think that Ashley is going to get that same kind of like blacklist? Is this the last we see of Ashley? Do you think she's going to take a couple seasons off, mandatory, and then be back? What do you think the deal is?
No, they're I think they did it on the show for that to kind of be the punishment so they can bring her back. I think if they didn't take her off the show, if they didn't act quick and punish her for what she did or didn't do, I really have no idea. Really, I didn't dive down that rabbit hole,
Mhm.
so I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I don't. I think they were punishing her hard now. That way, they could bring her back on future seasons. If they hadn't punished her at all, and then whatever she said came out
Mhm.
later, then they might have to cancel her
Yeah,
long term.
like I feel like MTV's in a little bit of hot water because we also get, like this video from Leroy where he goes back and talks about like, Camilla calling him the N word and MTV having no response to that. And MTV like pretty much let Camilla go off on everybody, until she was like physically violent with a crew member. You know what I mean? Like Camilla could say anything, do anything with no repercussions. And they're definitely in a different era now. And so, I don't without knowing what was said. And I don't know if it's something that maybe they're going to address it during the reunion or what, you know what I mean? But I feel like without them even giving us any context, it's like, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, well, and it's no one people have really probably forgot about it by now. It happened so long ago. If it wasn't for people like us that were really behind on our podcasting, then it might not even be brought up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on to the next person. I don't have anything else to say about Ashley. Like, oh, just a big question mark. What about Corey and the demise of Corey? He just can't ever pull it out. He can't get it done.
I'm I'm not I was never a fan of him in the beginning. Then I started to like him, and now I don't know. He's boring now.
He's
He's
boring.
boring. He just doesn't have that kill switch that he's a good competitor, but he doesn't have that like next level of like warrior.
And I mean, you want to see these people grow and mature because, that should be like the natural progression of life and what happens. But unless you have like the nostalgia factor of CT, CT can come on and he can be a married dad and be a little bit more bland compared to, crazy CT. But we have that history with him. And, he's a champ, such a complete badass. And Corey doesn't have that resume. And so for Corey to come on and be basically a married dad and not have the kill switch, I feel like maybe Corey needs to take a couple seasons off and come back with a different fire in him. But I mean, I don't even hardly remember his, episode where he got booted off because it's almost unremarkable what he did this season.
Yeah, if I was him, they're gonna call him. They're
Yeah,
gonna call him. I would call and I'd be like, I'm not gonna go back until
I'm
do
not
like
boring
a
you anymore.
rival season, and you get me a good partner in a duo season, and I'll come back one more time, and then I'll transition to All Stars.
Yeah, until I get my personality back, I'm gonna decline. So I'm over Corey. I think he needs a little bit of a break for a while. All right, so we've been hitting all around CT. Let's talk about what CT is doing. We got the confession on the last episode of, hey, I am, like a multi-time champion. I've done this. I've had, 55 daily wins, but I've never won back-to-back championships. So the final is close. Is there any chance that you see where CT does not make the final?
doesn't make the final,
Doesn't
no,
make the
he
final.
will
Doesn't get
be
purged.
at that final. I
Yeah.
would, I would go sell some Amazon shares and bet that he would make the
Yeah.
final.
I see no scenario where CT does not make the final. Like, they've all been too scared this whole time to go after him. There's no way they're going to try it in a purge.
No, and we don't know how this is gonna work. How many? There's 4 or 5 left on each
I
one,
think
right?
there's I think there's 5 left. So we've got CT, Devin, Nelson, Kyle, and Manuel. So who of those 4 do you think can beat CT in a final?
In a final,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Emmanuel.
I mean, Manuel, he's untested.
Yeah, I just think he's got like Energizer Bunny stats
Yeah,
when
I
it
mean,
comes to endurance.
I think endurance wise, he is going to be hard to keep up with, but I
And
don't
if they
know.
have a lot of like a blood drinking portion,
Right.
he's smarter than
Well, I'm not saying that he's dumb. I don't think that we've really gotten to see it yet.
yeah,
So, like,
because
I don't know how he's going to do on puzzles. He struggled with the heights last episode, but, you know, he's just unproven to me. So it's like, can he beat CT? I don't know. Now, I feel like the one that's probably the closest is Kyle, but Kyle's not smart enough to beat CT. I think endurance wise, he can stay with CT. Um, but when it comes to a puzzle or something, he's going to struggle.
yeah, and I think fourth quarter of the final, I think CT has more drive than Kyle
Yeah.
ever.
CT just has ridiculous drive. I mean,
Yeah.
he, Bananas has been out for a few seasons, and CT is like firmly taking that GOAT crown from him. And like, come and get it, Johnny
No one's
Bananas.
done back to back before,
I
have
don't
they?
I don't know if anyone has ever done back to back, but especially individually, like, it will
Yeah.
be a crazy accomplishment if he's able to win it.
If he does do it, do you retire?
No, I would not retire if I were him because, like, you're not. There's not a. There's not a
Just think
Hall
if
of
he
Fame.
went to
Like,
All
I'm just gonna come
Stars.
back and just keep taking my millions because they don't even put me in to eliminations. He is literally going to go into a final and never been voted into an elimination.
Yeah, I think Emmy's gone to more eliminations this season than he has in the past decade.
Yeah, I mean, I would just keep coming back until somebody grows a pair and is willing to like try to come after me. I'm going to come back and I'm going to take that easy $1,000,000 again and again and again.
Yeah, I think it was Daniel Tosh was talking about professional athletes. He's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll come back as a backup quarterback, then the practice squad. Like, I'll keep coming back as long as they're gonna give me that much money to play a
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's basically what's happening with CT. Like, he comes, he does the daily challenges, which, some of them aren't even hard. His body is in really great condition because he's not had to battle anything out. And I mean, these people are crazy. What are they doing? What are
yeah,
these men doing? If I was a female, I would not ever vote CTN because I would want to, if I get partnered up with him, I want to be partners with CT. But if I am a man, what are you doing?
yeah.
It makes no
I'm
sense.
if I'm in the house, I'm trying to get every single person to go against him before I get to the end.
Yeah,
Like, I'm looking at the big people. Like, yeah, you're
yeah.
gonna work. You're gonna work. Ooh,
Grow
you're good
some,
at puzzles. You might work.
grow some balls and throw CT into an elimination.
Yeah,
All
just not
right.
against yourself.
Yeah, not against you, but against somebody else. All right. So let's talk about your boy Devin. So he has claimed that he has played a perfect political game. What do you think? Has he played a perfect political game? Is he going to make a final or is he going to get purged?
I don't know if you can claim perfect political game when you're in a game with 3 teams. Like, eh, the I think he's played a great game. I just don't. I wish he wouldn't toot his own horn so much yes, be cocky, be arrogant. You can do that and not come off the way he's coming off. I do it every day. You
So
just
I'm
got to
like,
know when to pump the brakes on it, and
yeah,
he's not.
I'm like struggling. There's aspects of Devin that I'm like, okay, I can really appreciate what he's doing. Like sometimes his confessionals are really great, and then other times I'm like, I still can't fucking stand him. And so I like kind of bounce back and forth, like from episode to episode, whether or not I even like Devin or not. And I can't quite decide. I'm trying to give him that benefit of the doubt, like Amanda. But then, he throws his little temper tantrum over Tori and how, she was going hard for Ruby. And I'm like, do you not realize that if y'all end up running these finals as a team, Tori has to run the final with the people that she has. So Tori should do everything she can to try to protect Nelson and Logan, who were, those are two fairly strong guys. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like if I need someone to run a final with, I would choose Nelson and Logan over Devin every day of the week. And
Yeah.
Josh, like what? So what he's like doing for Tori, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah. I'm
this is why I
like,
don't like
and
you.
especially if you are friends with that person outside of the house, like, even if you did feel that way, I'm not going to scold you on national television. You know?
Yeah, I
I'm just
mean, well,
not.
you just look like a butthurt bitch,
Yeah.
basically. Um, just saying, like,
The way I didn't like the way he was like
yeah,
talking.
Tori,
Yeah.
how
Like it was
dare
very
you?
condescending. Yeah.
Yes, very condescending. That's what the problem is. And so, and Tori is like, hey, I got infiltrated, and Josh basically was like, hey, you can take Tori's spot. So
Which
that's
I
what
thought
Amanda
was
did.
dumb. Like if you're Josh and you want to kick one of the girls off your team,
You got to get rid of Nani. Come
you
on.
have to.
I
You
mean, I know
have to.
Nani's your friend, but like, once again, if I'm looking at it and I'm going into a final, Josh, you want to be a challenge champion. You don't want to run the final with Nani. You want to run it with Tori and Casey.
Yeah. But he probably thinks that Nani deserves it
Yeah,
and
and that
deserves
goes
to win. And
that goes back to this troll
everybody
mentality.
that I've heard that so many times in the past few seasons. This person deserves. If you deserve something in the challenge world, you get it. Okay? Like I I'm so done with that culture. Let's get away from that. The people that deserve wins get them. Like Josh, you do not deserve a win until you get one. You have made improvements in the last few seasons physically, but you still don't deserve to win.
And it's that same mentality of like, these are the people that I've rocked with the whole season, and these are my friends, and we're trying to get our friend group into the final. Well, your friend group, like we said, sucks individually. Y'all been able to pull off some things, but part of what y'all been able to pull off is because you have Emmanuel, you had Tori, you had Casey. Like,
And numbers. Some of those
yeah,
challenges were
yeah,
very
and some of
heavily
it you had a
advantaged to them.
large group of people. And Devin does have his strengths and Nani doesn't. Josh really doesn't. But there's power in numbers. And so like, but y'all aren't that great. I'm sorry. And so they've got to get out of this mentality, and casting has to do a better job of saying, hey, you know what? We need people in here that are competitors, not people that want to play fucking patty cake. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Stop pulling people from Big Brother, pull from the Survivor. We're seeing proof right here. You have
Yeah.
Emmanuel, you have Emmy, that's Survivor foundations right there.
Yeah. All right. Next up, let's talk about the big meatball, Josh. So, as you said, he has made improvements physically, but is Josh ever going to win a challenge?
I mean,
No.
I would have
No.
said this. I would have said no that he was going to win Big Brother, but he beat Paul. Like I want to
Frank.
think
I
that
don't
he's
mean
never
to
going to
like
win, but
Frank. Like I don't.
geez.
I'm gonna have to just break this down to you. Paul is literally the Russell of Big Brother.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I said what I said.
Paul has redeeming qualities. People like Paul.
Paul
Paul
may have redeemed
got
qualities
robbed.
outside of Big Brother,
No,
but
they were no.
but Paul played the same type of game as Russell, and he got the same results as Russell 2 times.
That's not true. He wasn't vulgar about it. He didn't have a dumb ass girl alliance. I don't think he did any of that. He just cut people. That's all it was. He wasn't being malicious or mean about it.
Yeah, he was. Like, he wouldn't let people talk to the people that are going to get voted out. So I'm just saying.
That's more Boston
Y'all
Rob.
can drop it in the comments.
Yeah,
Tell us
vote.
if Paul is the Russell of Big Brother, because he is. All right. So, Josh, is Josh going to ever be a challenge champion? Is there something that he can pull out to make himself get over that little hump? I say no. It's just impossible. He's not ever going to do it.
No, you can work out every day. You can train, but he's a goof, and I think he'll always be a goof. Like,
he
I just
doesn't
don't
have
see it.
the mental toughness to do it. Like seeing him just completely crumble in that elimination against Kyle, like,
He's an emotional wreck, an
he had
emotional
the
hurricane.
support of everybody, and that does pump you up. And he still couldn't get it done. And I mean, everybody was rooting for him. Everyone was rooting against Kyle, and he still just can't quite get it done.
Yeah, and we need a break from Josh. I don't.
We need a break from Josh. Production, Corey, Josh, put their numbers in saved, but let's not ring them next year. There's quite a few numbers that we need to take off the call
We
list.
got a lot of them this season.
And
so.
let's talk about another one that needs to get taken off the call list for a while, and that is Casey. Look.
Well, I think if you don't invite Fessy and Josh back, then you can invite Casey back.
No.
Don't invite Nani.
Casey is never, ever going to give you what you need, because, yes, you want people that are good physical competitors, but this is also a television show, and you need to have good personalities. Like, I think Casey is freaking amazing at these. Like, she obviously has a good social game. Everybody likes her. You never hear anyone say anything bad about Casey, ever. So that she's obviously fantastic at playing the game, but she is on a television show, and she sucks on television.
Yeah, she's super boring, but
she's so boring.
What a beast.
I mean, so good at the physical challenges. I mean,
so let's bring her back let's not bring her back on regular and bring her back for like the pros.
Don't ruin All Stars.
No, not All Stars. No. All Stars is, you got to be super like the other direction. Extra entertainment gold to make All Stars, I think, is what puts you on All Stars.
Yes.
Right now they're working with some fillers, but the next season is going to be like legit All Stars.
Yeah. So, Casey, God bless it. Please lose her number for a few seasons. We need a break.
Yeah.
We need a break.
Give her and Nani their own reality show.
No.
Let's watch that and just not invite them back for.
I don't need to see Casey on my TV ever again. She's so boring. I don't need to see her. Okay. Let's talk about Casey as she is heading into this potential final. Do you think she makes it through the purge?
Yeah. Unless it's a size thing and she's up against Tori.
Yeah, so the 5 girls that are remaining, we have Casey, Tori, Amanda, Emmy, and who am I missing?
You said Casey, Tori, Amanda,
Emmy,
Nani.
I mean, the only person that has the potential to take Casey out is Tori. Yeah. I mean, Amanda, Nani, Emmy is,
I think in certain things.
Emmy is coming along. Emmy has a ton of heart, but God bless. Like, none of these people are going to be able to beat Casey. It's kind of like, not sending Casey into a elimination is kind of like not sending CT in. I mean, she's so strong physically that you have to take a shot at her if you're another girl. You have to.
Yeah.
And like, you obviously don't want it to be you, but send somebody down there. And as soon as they get out of this mob mentality of, working as a group, and we saw it as the veteran alliance, and then it got chiseled down, and whizzled down into this emerald cell. And then this group has, been the mob mentality, and it's ruining the show. It's ruining it. Okay. Next up. Let's talk about Kyle.
Kyle, I know you love him. And I
love Kyle. He's everything that I need. Kyle is the female Emmy. He's very entertaining. He's very entertaining. He always manages to find his way to the end or close to the end. And he's once again here against kind of all of the odds because he really doesn't have anybody. Like, he has his friendship with Devin, but he's burned Devin, and he kind of has like a frenemy relationship with CT, and CT can't quite get rid of him. He's kind of like like a parasite. He's like got his claws dug.
He is a parasite, and I wish he would just own it. We've had a couple episodes where he's kind of like whining. That's not a good look on you. Just be funny, be a parasite. Don't whine because people can't trust you, because people can't trust you, Kyle.
He's so great. I mean, his confessionals are great. Whenever him and Emmy are celebrating their win in that last challenge, when CT got all 7 of their capsules, and he's like, "We're the winners, you're losers." Like, he knows that he's not the best, but I don't know, it's like a combination of a little bit of skill.
I could not live with that though. His voice, like yelling around through a house like that after a loss would be like
completely under Tori's skin. It's amazing. So I, once again, just Kyle can do no wrong for me. He gives me everything that I need. He's decent as a competitor, and he's golden confessionals.
Yeah, he's a Devin for me. He, like the way you feel about Devin, I feel about Kyle.
Yeah, except that you even admitted that Devin is too cocky.
Here recently, I like
it's unwarranted because he's not proven himself at all.
That's what, I don't think he's ever been. I don't think he's been too cocky. He's been the right level of. He's been arrogant, but he hasn't been cocky. He's went from arrogant to cocky, and I think, or is it the other way around? Which one would be worse, arrogant or cocky, in your opinion?
Like, they both suck.
Both suck.
Neither one of them are like positive personality traits. I mean, I've heard, like, growing up as an athlete, that you want to be confident, not cocky. Confident is a positive word. Cocky is a negative word. Arrogant is a negative word. And so I think you're right on the nose on both of them. He is arrogant. He is cocky. And he has a false sense of confidence.
Yeah. I think he is intelligent, and that's always been his claim to fame. And that's why I've agreed with it. But I don't think he is at the level he thinks he's at now with this season.
He is not. All right.
Either him and Josh both think that they've been doing a lot more than they really have.
Teamed up and made Team Numbnuts. I mean,
yeah, it's like they're sitting there like Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, it's really easy to root against them because they both have aspects that are very unlikable. So there it is. All right.
Josh is worse for me because he cries.
Josh is way worse. I mean,
crying.
Way worse. Devin does give good confessionals most of the time. All right. Moving on from Kyle and Devin, let's talk about Nany. Look, it's been said many times that I love Nani. I do not love this version of Nani. We need to go back to noodle throwing Nani, not
Oh, I was
relationship
falling
Nani.
asleep. Are we talking
Yeah,
about Nani? Yeah, I'm just gonna
he's
take a nap.
God bless. We need to lose Nani's number for a few seasons.
I've
Um,
never been a Nani fan.
I've
Ever.
always been a Nani fan.
Ever.
Back when Nani was messy, and she threw noodles and she hooked up with lots of people, and she was just a mess. That's the Nani that I miss. This Nani is not good.
Boring.
Boring. Nani, don't make me rescind my membership in your fan club.
Yeah. She just, I mean, I did enjoy watching her face when it looked like the teams were over because the whole time you've heard her and Josh. Oh, I love the team thing. Go Emerald. Yes, I'm fine. I feel like I'm finally gonna win, like because I got a bunch of people that can carry me to a win.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
And I mean, Nani always gets herself to this point also. Kind of like Kyle does. You very rarely see Nani go out early. She
She's
has.
also been aligned with bananas a lot,
Yeah,
so
well, I mean, that's part of it too. But she makes good alliances. She surrounds herself with good people. Even though she's pretty weak, she manages not to get called in a lot, and so she makes herself
she surrounds herself with people. I wouldn't say
right
good people.
with powerful people in the game.
Powerful. There we go.
All right, but yep, nope. Sorry, MTV producers. Let's also just put Nani on the back burner for a little while. Let her find her personality. She can go out on an excursion with Corey. They both lost them somewhere.
I'd rather have Bettina come back.
I'm gonna pass on that one too.
I said rather.
All right, let's talk about Nelly T. He's so
Loving.
close. He's so close to the final. And Nelson is another one that has grown on me a lot. I feel
Yeah.
like Nelson is like kind of like this pure little, just innocent as you can be in the challenge world nugget. And he wants to be good. He wants to be strategic. And he's just not capable.
He it's almost like he lives in this own reality that he lives in. I love it. I like him a lot more when Corey's not around.
Yeah.
I like how he's done a little bit of everything this season. He's gotten into some drama. He's had some hookups.
Yeah.
And he's shown up in the eliminations. I don't think he'll ever really pass that threshold into a first and a final. I
Yeah.
just don't think
I
he's
feel
got
like he's
the whole package.
he's kind of there, but I just don't think mentally he's ever
Few
going to be
French
able to
fries
do it
short of a
either.
Happy Meal.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not the brightest crayon in the
His
box.
words are the best, though.
He's so funny. He's another one like I live for his confessionals because even if like they'll right now they basically are using Casey and Nani to like lay out the challenge for us. Like, oh, we have to get these capsules and we have to take them from one place to another. And I realize they're not going to let me come back across, so I'm just going to jump off. They use Nelson a lot in that role too, but Nelson's like, and they said if we fall in the water, that we're gonna be out. And he's so
I'm thinking
mad.
I might drown. Like he
Yeah.
does take it to the next level.
Yeah,
Did you
everything
see
that
him in the last challenge where he was like doing this Matrix like back
Yes,
thing?
he really did. That was super impressive. But Nelson has such a spark in him that maybe separating him from Corey will be good, and we can see even more progression from Nelly. So,
Yeah.
like, I almost kind of just root for him a little bit.
Oh yeah, he's definitely someone I want to see do well. I just don't think he will.
Yeah. All right. Tori.
Her stock is out of everyone in the house plummeted more than anyone.
Yes.
I don't know what happened in this last breakup, but we have not seen the same Tori
We've
in the
not seen the
challenge.
same Tori. She's another one, like, I don't feel she still has her personality, um, but I just think that she also needs to take a little bit of a break. But hers is more of maybe like a mental health break where she kind of needs to rediscover herself. Like she's been through a lot, and she's played in basically like 7 seasons back to back to back to back. We saw her first in Dirty 30, and she comes in and she's in a relationship, and this is where she meets Jordan, immediately moves into a relationship with him. We see that relationship progress through an engagement, and then she comes back all of a sudden, not with Jordan anymore. Had her little thing with Fessy, moved on from Fessy. You know what I mean? Like we've seen her go from relationship to relationship to relationship, and I feel like she needs just a little time to find herself.
Yeah, yeah, because this probably is a mental thing because she still physically looks like she's there. Um, and it's probably got to be really hard, even outside of the game, when the cameras are over, dealing with all the fans. Because when you're in a serious relationship with another reality star, all their fans are probably going to send you hate mail.
Yeah, they
Like, there's
either
just a
love you or
lot to
hate
it.
you,
Yeah.
or yeah. I mean, I feel like Tori's got a lot to deal with, and I like Tori, and so I want to see her do well. I just think she needs some time off. But I feel like we've just talked about our opinions of everybody. We like this one. We don't like this one. We're tired of seeing this one. Can you see Tori winning this final?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's if it's solo and it's girls and guys, I think the only person that beats her is Casey.
Yeah, I think it's
I think
a
Emmy could put up a fight, but I think Emmy can't win unless it's a duo.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like at one point in time, CT even said, like, Emmy needs someone to tell her exactly what to do. And I think that some of that comes from the fact that Emmy is extremely young. Like, I did not realize that she's only 20 years old. And yes, I think that's right.
Wow.
Um, so I think some of that just comes from her being so, so young. But whenever she gets a
CC could
little,
be her uncle.
yeah, literally could be her uncle, like probably could almost be her dad. So I think that
Yeah.
whenever we get, a little more of a mature Emmy, that she's going to blossom. And I've really enjoyed her. But I agree with your assessment in that Emmy can win if she's in a duo. But I feel like if it's coming down to an individual, girls against girls, it's, who wants it more between Tori and Casey? Because I feel like they're probably pretty even. I'm going to give the slight edge to Casey because I think Casey's so well rounded, and being entertaining doesn't factor into the challenge final. So Casey doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I don't know what it would take to beat Casey. I
Yeah,
don't. Is
I'm not
she? Did
sure
she?
what
She's
area
what?
she.
Because we have only seen her do one final, right? And she.
Yeah, or has she done? Has she done two? I can't quite remember.
I can't
Um,
remember either, but I know we haven't seen a lot of her in the final. I don't know how good she is at puzzles. I know she's not
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Not
that's where my
good
question
though.
mark for her is like is on the mental stuff. If she has to do math problems or puzzles. We know she can run, she can do anything athletic, she can eat the food. She's got all of that, but I don't know about puzzles, math problems type stuff. Um, that'll be
I
kind of
do think that if there's in this final that's coming up, like we've seen, it might have been last season or the season before that, where you can dish out a penalty to another team or another
mhm.
person.
Yeah.
Tori might win if everyone's throwing their penalties at Casey. So
Yeah.
there's
And
that
I mean, I
chance
feel like
too.
Casey is definitely the favorite going into it. So, it could be good. Maybe Tori's able to win this season and then take a small break.
That'd be
That would be good.
awesome.
That'd be good for her. All right. So let's wrap it up with the last veteran that we have been having on our screens a lot, and that is Big T. We just lost Big T 2 episodes ago, and I'm also like a huge fan of Big T. I just love her personality. I love her heart. Um, Obviously not the best competitor, but I am just I'm I'm like split somewhere between wanting people to be savage like Amanda is and then wanting people to be nice because I love Big T. Like don't shit on her, but also, tear these people apart. And so I'm like in a conundrum because these people these guys talk so much shit about Big T, and maybe that's the problem. Is it's the guys talking shit about her, and it's people like Devin, and I'm like, Devin, you're not any better than Big T.
Um,
He's not.
I disagree.
He's got he's got big third or fourth place energy. Like
But I think Devin can finish a final.
I think he can finish it. I think Big T
I
can
don't know if
too.
Big T can finish a final.
Big T can finish a final.
I don't know.
She can finish a final. Devin can finish a final, but Devin is not going to probably ever win a final either.
I don't think he will.
And I don't think Big T can either. So for Devin to just be like, we don't want Big T to infiltrate our team. We are too good.
But Devin has he's won our Playmaker award a couple times. He has, even if he doesn't dominate in the challenges, he can go into an elimination win. He benefits his team in the challenges with his brain. He makes political moves, as to where Big T is not doing anything other than just being really likable. And
sometimes
I want to see her work on her game and continue. If you're going to come back stronger every time.
And I think that she has done that. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think the Big T that we saw in her very first challenge, I mean, she definitely didn't belong there then. And I think each season she's gotten more confident. She's gotten better skill wise. But Big T is another one that in her social media has said that she is not coming back to the challenge next season. She's like gotten into culinary school and she's trying to like build a real life career outside of reality television. And I just feel
culinary school and the challenge will not mix because everyone I know that goes to culinary school puts on like a good 20 pounds. It's facts.
A really, really good point. Like if I'm making all of this food, I'm probably gonna eat it. But I just feel like Big T is not made for the challenge in terms of like she is also just so pure.
Yeah.
And she's really actually pure. Like I don't feel like she's ever said anything bad about anybody. And I just hate people being mean to her. And so I want her to just be happy and laugh, whatever that is.
Yeah. I think that's a good move for her because you can tell it's when she's not picked, when people don't want to be on our team, you can see that it's causing pain in her eyes. You can see it.
Yeah, like nobody ever wants to think that they're always the weakest person. They're the person nobody wants to be with. Like that's hard mentally. And
yeah, I've read that it's hard.
Okay, Devin. All right. Let's talk about Emmanuel. I can't even say his name. I'm just going to say it like a full-on white girl from Texas. Let's talk about Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
I think he is, if you gave 2 Rookie of the Year awards, he's rookie number 2.
Okay, so I have watched the last 3 episodes yesterday. Rewatched them. Let me say that. Rewatch them, and the more I see Emmanuel, the less I'm liking him. just he also has this confidence of like, yeah, Kyle, chicken, you don't want to call me down there because I will beat your ass. And I'm like, once again, Emmanuel, like, you haven't proven it yet. Like, it's great to be confident in yourself, but you're being
He
cocky
is a
and
vampire and he's lived 900 years. He's proven enough. He doesn't need to prove shit to them. He's
you're
going to
not a
drink their
real vampire.
blood.
Emmanuel, you're not a real vampire. You don't suck people's blood just because you're from Romania.
I think he's entertaining AF. I think he is good in these challenges. I think
I think
he's a
he's good.
competitor. He's a competitor. He weighs like 95 pounds soaking wet, and he's competing at a level that I think is up there
But
with
he
the
hasn't
best.
had to do anything really head to head because once again, he's not been called down. He's managed to escape each elimination. Like good for him. Whatever type of political game he's playing, that he's been the one rookie that hasn't gotten called in until this last episode. Great for him. Um, but I feel like until you have had some type of headbanger where you've had to actually like really earn it, then like even this elimination that he won, like he only won that elimination because Logan is a dumbass and should have called in Devin. Like Logan calls in Devin, Devin leaves,
I still
Logan
think he
says,
would have beat probably almost anybody. He could have beat anyone, even CT, I think.
who, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Oh yes. I mean, like that
He
was
was
an
floating across
elimination.
that.
That was an elimination for him. Like you said, he was 90 pounds soaking wet. He's a dancer, like he's very light and spry and quick. This was a challenge that he's always going to win.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think I want to see him and maybe a couple other people that are built like him that can compete. Like, because we've had some scrawny people, but they're not like, they're like Preston. Like, I want somebody that's tiny that can compete. Like the Derek's.
but Manuel isn't Derek because I feel like Derek's, like kind of bowed up, and Emmanuel is like
No, he's
you.
a little short. Derek's just shorter. That's
Derek
the
is
only
short.
difference.
Derek's short,
Derek looks stockier because he's shorter.
but I think he does have more muscle than Emmanuel. Like Emmanuel
Not a
looks
whole
like
lot.
you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Y'all have the exact same build. Skinny and short. Just teasing.
He's not that short, is he?
No, I don't think he's that short. But
Jay is short. I think Emmanuel's a little, just like a beanpole, a little taller and
yeah,
scrawny.
he's kind of a beanpole. But he just annoys me a little bit.
Love him.
Love him. Okay. So look at this. Sonia in the comments, Paul had poor jury management.
But he was not malicious. He was not malicious.
Paul is the Russell of Big Brother. All right. So
That is the worst thing.
back to Emmanuel. He is good. I feel like if he gets to the final, he has a decent shot. Once again, like when you're looking at the competition, CT is the front runner by a mile, and then you've got Kyle, who is going to be decent. Devin, who's going to struggle a little bit. Manuel, and Nelson. So I mean, like I feel like Emmanuel can compete for that second or third place spot right there.
Yeah, I think they're all competing for second place. Unless you somehow get CT out in this elimination. And I don't even know how the elimination is going to work. Because
Yeah,
there's 5
it's too
people.
late.
Is it going to be all 5? Like, King
That
of the
could be
Hill? Like,
interesting. That could be interesting.
that would be the
Um,
only way I see CT not winning this, is if it's like a 5 on all competing at the same time and all 4 like push CT off the platform somehow and yeah. That's the
All
only
right,
way.
we're gonna skip over Emmy and we're gonna come back to her because I feel like she's probably the one that we most have the most to talk about. Let's talk about Logan since we just lost him in this last episode. Do you think Logan was dynamic enough to be brought back for another season? No. MTV, let's lose his number 2.
No.
I was kind of hopeful for him in the beginning because I feel like the first couple episodes, I was like, okay, he's kind of interesting. Like he's like this Latin hot guy, and I am here for this. And then he just kind of once once he ditched Big T, I was done with him. Hell no, Logan. We don't just make Big T fall in
I
love
think
with
that's an
you.
emotional reaction, Kylie. I don't think he's that bad. I think what it is, I think part of it is, I think the the language barrier. I think once he realizes how well he's received by people and fans, I think he's going to be a little more comfortable talking more. I think he has more personality than we can see. I think he's holding it back
Well,
because he might not be
yeah,
sure
I mean,
what
I
to
can
let out.
obviously the language barrier comes into play a little bit, but you also have like Turbo, who had a language barrier, and Turbo was extremely entertaining.
Yes, but that's because Turbo's a crazy person and he's not thinking about anything that he says. Where I think Logan is a little more like careful with what comes out of his mouth and reserved than Turbo.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else to say about Logan? Like, I'm just whatever. If they bring him back, great. If they don't, oh well. I don't have much invested in him. Um, so, whatever.
Maybe like Bachelor in Paradise. I don't
Yeah, that would
know.
be great. Like, let's put him on Too Hot to Handle
Yeah.
or,
Ooh, yeah, I think that'd be a good
something
spot
like
for him.
that. Let's just move him into the dating. I mean, he is a really great athlete and I feel like he's a great person, but just I've got to have the entertainment there too. And Logan does, he didn't do it for me. All right, let's talk about Emmy. So I think this is finally one that we can agree on.
Rookie of the Year.
We are both big Emmy fans. She's amazing.
Yeah. She's how many
I'm fixing to Google
eliminations?
it.
Is it like 4 or 5?
Yeah,
Like
I think she's been into 5 eliminations, won them all.
that's impressive. That's I think like a tie for the record. I
She's
think
22.
22. That's still young.
Yeah, very, very young. And I think she may have like just turned 22.
She's an alien.
She is an alien.
Yeah,
Um,
she had every. She was entertaining on all levels. She was a beast in competitions. She she was did a really good job at integrating herself in with the veterans and the powerful veterans at that.
Yeah, and like when I'm thinking back to like how Emmy started the show in episode 1 when we have her kind of like flipping on the survivor group, I was like, oh, this girl's gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
She is just going to be like a little shit starter, and that's not who she is at all. Like she's a little bit crazy, but in a good way, and she's extremely loyal. Um,
Yeah,
you
she's
know,
a
like
ride or
she,
die.
she's a ride or die. She has CT's back to the end. And CT definitely took her under his wing, and we see like, I feel like what Big T wanted from CT is what Emmy got. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
felt bad she had to watch it too.
Yeah, like it's kind of like this, you know, like love affair, except that obviously they weren't, romantic, but like, you know what I mean? Like Big T's little heart has to break watching what has, developed between Emmy and CT because CT just absolutely took her under his wing, even though like there was times where Emmy sucked, and he's called her out for it, like, hey, Emmy, you're kind of freaking out under pressure, and you're not contributing in this one. But he just always, kind of forgives and brings her back, and I think it's been great for her.
Yeah, I think he saw just the raw talent
Yeah,
this season and
and
was
I
like,
think
I
that
can do
if
something with this.
Yeah, I think that if we don't see CT quite take the liking to her that he did, then we don't see Emmy completely develop in one season into the player that she's become. She's a little emotional, which she probably needs to rein in a little bit, but I think that God, she's got so much potential.
Yeah. I like the craziness that comes out because it's after a win. When you
Yeah.
get those dubs, man, it's hard to keep it all in. And I couldn't imagine over and over and over each one. I would get louder every single damn victory. Like,
Yeah, I love her. Once again, like kind of pure and just she's here to compete and she's doing a damn good job. So
yeah, we'll
I
definitely see her again.
definitely will see her again, and I'm here for it. They can just keep bringing her back again and again. All right, so that is us going through all the remaining people and the people that have recently left. Anything else you want to say about this season up to this point?
That I think Dawn Dragon Monkey. I'm sorry that we left you hanging for a few episodes. We'll do better next year.
We'll do better next year.
That's all I
We've,
got to
we've
say.
got some
This
we've got some really great ideas in the works for the fans and something that's going to spread Frank and I a little less thin. And so we are looking forward to that because we love talking about all of the shows, but it is obviously a lot to try to get everything coordinated and fit into a tight schedule
yes,
when
we
all of the
want to
shows
we
are
want
on right
to thin out what we're doing so we can put 110 more percent into the content that we're doing and make it even better for you
yeah,
guys.
and we think we've got some really great people on board to help us with covering. And you've seen all of them already. So,
Anything else to plug?
huh?
Anything
Anything else
else we
to
got to talk
plug?
about?
All right, so we have only 2 more weeks left in Survivor. So we will be back on Thursday with The Fans Have Spoken to talk about the booted player, and then our recap on Thursday following that. And then the next week will be finale week. It's hard to believe that we're
Yep.
right here at the end of Survivor. And then we'll actually have a small break where the only thing that's going to be on is the Challenge All Stars. So we do plan on bringing y'all a Challenge All Stars recap. If you're not watching this season, you definitely should because they are killing it over on All Stars. Anything that you're missing from the Challenge 37, they're giving you in All Stars. Good competitions, drama, fights, not like physical fights, but arguments,
Soundtracks.
soundtracks. The music hits different because we're all just early 2000s kids here, and so playing some Backstreet Boys. I want it that way. So yeah, but we will be back sometime this week, maybe on Friday, to recap the first 4 episodes of Challenge All Stars. All right, Frank.
We'll do better next year.
Anything else to plug, Frank?
No, I don't think we're. I think we're gonna take a break for game night throughout the holidays. If we do have a game night, it'll be like, hey, a bunch of us are doing nothing. Let's have an instant game night, and we'll make sure to pop the link on the Facebook page. So make sure you're following there. Give us a like and subscribe here too. We're a couple away from getting triple digits on our subscribers on YouTube. So let's get some of you Facebook people onto YouTube.
Yeah, sounds great. Yep. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get a notification every time we go live. It might be sporadic like tonight, or it might be planned. You just never know what to expect. We'll keep you on your toes. And we will see all of you guys next week. Bye, y'all.